Hi, and welcome to Tony's Cool Tools. If it's your first time, thanks for stopping by. Today's video, we're going to be covering three things. The new Hisea Chelsea boot, mirrors for your tractor or UTV, very economical, and spinner knobs, or they call them suicide knobs or steering wheel helper. So stick around, should be pretty interesting. So the first thing we're going to cover is spinner knobs. A lot of you do have them already, but I see a lot of vehicles, tractors, UTVs without them. And I want to show you the benefits of this accessory. Now these fit cars, trucks, tractors, boats, riding lawnmowers, forklifts, pretty much anything with a steering wheel you can put one of these on. And all the hardware is included, so it's super easy to install. Should take you about 5 minutes. And for those of you who have older tractors or UTVs that do not have power steering, this will make it as though you have power steering. Super easy, and I'll show you momentarily. And manufacturers offer these knobs in a variety of different materials like plastic, wood, leather, and metal, just to name a few. And if you want to customize it with a color like green or orange, they do have that as well. So you can be spinning in style when you put it on one of yours. Many times manufacturers offer multiple screws so that'll fit anything from 1 inch to 1 3/4 of an inch. So you should be fine there, but just make sure you read the details when ordering. As I mentioned, when buying one of these, make sure you measure your steering wheel. I forgot to do that and just grabbed one of these spinner knobs, and unfortunately, it won't fit around it. The steering wheel is too big, and the screws are too small. So I have to get a different size. I'm going to return this, and they had several different varieties out there. So this steering wheel looks like it's about 1.5 inches or 1 3/4 inches. So I'm going to get the biggest one. So let's take a ride and go spinning. We'll try it on my tractor first, then my UTV, and you be the judge afterwards. This is the Argo brand that I purchased at my local farm and ranch store. It's plastic and it just spins right around. You can use 2 fingers to operate it. Let me show you. It's awesome backing up because you don't have to palm the steering wheel. All right, let's speed this up now and show you how it works at a higher RPM. And naturally, as I said, the backing up is the best part because you're not palming your steering wheel. And here I have it mounted on my Kubota UTV. It's an Easy Rider brand. Basically the same thing, it just spins around. So let's take a ride. Okay, with a show of hands, let me see how many of you use mirrors on your tractors or your UTVs. Okay, I can't see you. Leave me a comment, please, so I can see how many of you do use a mirror on your UTV or tractor. And no hate mail, please, but I personally would not own a tractor without mirrors or a UTV without mirrors. There's just an additional safety factor when you have mirrors and you don't have to stretch or contort to take a look behind you. and I don't want to use the old man card. However, as you get older, you don't have flexibility like you did when you were younger, and you can contort yourself with Mary Lou in the back seat of that Volkswagen Beetle. So here's what I'm talking about. In the summertime, it's no issue turning around, twisting and turning, but in the winter, when you have heavy clothes on, it's a little bit more difficult. And with this, I can use my mirrors and get extremely close without having to keep watching. I just look at the mirror. That way it's much, much safer. And it's so nice to have the two mirrors that I can watch both sides very easily without turning around and knowing if there was any danger. And with an ATV, it's the same thing. I can look on either side here and back up slowly and not have to turn around. And as a bonus, I can also use this, a wide angle rear view mirror. So that makes life real easy. And I can get real tight to an area by just watching my mirrors. I understand that mirrors are expensive, and aftermarket mirrors are about $50 to $75 per mirror if you don't have mirrors on your tractor now. But I'm going to show you a way of putting on a mirror that's only $10. Now, you may call it a redneck way, but for over 3 years I used it, and it was fantastic on my old New Holland tractor. And that's using these mirrors. Now, you can get them in your farm and ranch store or at the automotive store, and they're only $9.99, or at least that's what they used to be. Now, with COVID and everything else, it might be a little more expensive, but I'm sure if you go on Amazon, you'll still find them for $9.99. And they have a stud in the back here. So when you guys get your IBC totes and you take the top bars off, do you hang on to them and reuse them? I have a bucket here that I keep them in, and I've got a ton of these things, and I use them for multiple projects. These work great if you cut the ends off and use them for stakes in your garden. But for this project, I'll show you what I did with them. I started out with a piece like this, and I used a pair of channel locks or pliers here, and I just bent this over. And then I used my hammer here, and I pounded this out on a piece of wood till it turned out like this. You can use a hacksaw or a power miter saw or a side grinder. Now, this one happens to have a sanding disc on it, but you can put a cutting disc on there, and that's what I did. And I took this and I cut it into this section right here. I measured what I needed on my tractor, and I put a couple of holes in it, flattened the ends off on an anvil or a piece of wood, flattened the ends off, and then I just installed this on the mirror here, and let me show you what it looked like. And the final result after you've cut it and drilled it is something that looks like this. Now let me show you how easily it attaches on my tractor. So on most tractors, the front arm loaders have this space in between here, and all I do is put that in, use a standard spring clamp that I get at Harbor Freight, and voila, you've got a mirror for under $10. And here's the point of view when you're looking at it from the tractor seat. You just need to adjust it to whatever you like, sideways and up and down, and it works great. And the spring holds it real tight, and I raised the loader arm all the way up almost vertical to show you that it does not affect the spring clamp in any way, nor does it touch the mirror. The spring of the year is always the hardest part to choose which footwear to put on first. In the morning, the ground is still hard, so you can walk on it with no problem, but by the time the afternoon comes out, it gets muddy and greasy and wet. For those of you who watch my channel, I did a review on the Hisea steel toe work boot. That's video 53. These boots right here. And I've been wearing them, and they're pretty doggone good. For a boot that's under $50, that's steel toe, leather, and waterproof, is pretty doggone good. And that's size 12 too. The only issue I have, and it's not truly an issue, is they're not insulated. So for the most part of the winter, I couldn't wear them because my feet got cold. So I had to switch to an insulated boot. But other than that, they're comfortable, as I said, waterproof, leather, and under 50 bucks. The folks at Hisea contacted me again and asked me if I would do a review on their updated Chelsea boot. And at first I thought, what the heck is a Chelsea boot? So they sent it to me. And lo and behold, I had been wearing Chelsea boots for many years, but I didn't know what they were called. And that's this style of boot, or This one here, basically just a slip-on boot, which I love. Now these are steel toe and they're all leather and they're supposedly waterproof. And for the most part they have been, but I don't test them and go into standing water. The one and only issue that I've had with this, even though this has a stretchy material here, is trying to put them on. They do have a double loop system here, but I actually had to put a little rope on here to try to pull on the back to get more leverage to pull this on my foot. But once I got them on, they worked real good and they were comfortable. And they've lasted me probably 3 or 4 years. Typically I wear these in the spring all the way through the fall. These are my kind of go-to boots. I had been looking for a rubber type of work boot very similar to this that I could use in the spring and in the summer, walking on the grass, the dewy grass, or in the spring when there's still mud, ice, and snow on the ground. So I jumped at the chance to try these out. So here are some specs on the shoes. They are all rubber. They are a 5mm neoprene top, so it's very flexible here and won't chafe your ankles. And though these are 5mm neoprene tops, they do have a mesh inside for breathing, so you're not going to sweat as badly, which will keep you drier and more comfortable. And it does have a very aggressive tread pattern on the bottom, so traction shouldn't be a problem. And these are steel shank. Now the one thing is, this is not a steel toe. It is pretty firm, but it is not a steel toe. And if you happen to be working or walking near the road, there is a high-vis heel strap on the back for safety purposes so somebody can see you from far away. And regardless of which pair you buy, Hisea comes with a 100-year warranty. Now you do have to register it online for that. So the next question you're going to have is, what is the cost on these new Chelsea boots? They run between $54 and $60, and that's based on what size foot you have. So if you have a smaller foot, you're going to be lucking out and buying them at $54. And as a bonus for Tony's Cool Tool viewers, Hisea has offered me a 15% discount for people that are viewing my channel. And all you have to do is put in TCT15 off in the discount code section when you order your boots. And with the 15% discount, that'll bring your cost down to $46 to $51. Can't beat that. As I mentioned before, the Chelseas that I had before were extremely difficult to put on. With these, they just slip right on. No issue. I think these new Chelsea boots are going to keep me warm and dry regardless of what condition, whether it's water or snow. Well, I hope you found the video informative on the low-cost mirrors, the new Hisea boots, and the spinner knobs. And if so, please like, share, and subscribe. And also give me a thumbs up, please. And remember, pass it forward. Make the world a better place. And don't be a tool. Watch Tony's Cool Tools. Thanks again until I see you next time.